If you go back and you watch a lot of those old West Coast hip-hop videos, there's White Sox hats everywhere. This is part of the uniform. It's over 30 years where it's been a mainstay and it's synonymous with hip-hop. I think it's time to tell the story and it's time for it to be celebrated.
These artists had adopted it. It was exploding.
It was like wildfire.
They made a statement, but we had the players to back it up.
It had gotten bigger than any of us had ever imagined.
We're still rocking the black, but it's a new day.
I would say it's been the most successful rebrand in sports.
When I think about that iconic White Sox hat, I think about hip hop and rock stars. I think about the love of sports and how it blends into pop culture.
That black and white, man, that black and white works. It works with everything.
And the old English letters, I don't know who your marketing guys that came up with the genius of using old English letters, but that was special too.
I'm Michael Busick. I was Director of Marketing and Broadcasting with the White Sox from 1989 through January of 1996. The White Sox brand, when I arrived in 1988, had been badly bruised, let's say. The team had won the American League West in 1983, but then from 84 through 89 was really a rough stretch, both on the field and then there was the off the field challenge of trying to replace old Comiskey Park, which was crumbling. I think there was a lot of feedback coming from fans. Back in those days, there wasn't email, there was old-style fan mail, letters that would come to Jerry expressing desire to return back to a more traditional White Sox look.
Yo, what's up, everyone? It's your resident Chicago urban historian, Sherman Dilla Thomas, here to tell you about the non-traditional White Sox looks. See, between 1969 and 1989, there wasn't a lot of focus on the color white or on socks. There was a lot of focus on red and blue and baby blue and more red. And there were collars, big collars, and shorts. Yes, shorts. I don't know about any of you, but I'm not interested in seeing anyone's knees. Now, some of those uniforms were awesome, like 83. Yes, I'm looking at you, 83. But the rest of those, they had to go. And not only that, there was no common thread. The only common thread was that there was no common thread. And we had people like Bo and Ozzy and Frank coming to town. And it was time to make an impact on a new decade. Isn't that right, Big Hurt?
I mean, when I got here, I couldn't stand the old uniforms. They were just outdated. I mean, I think this team, we had a lot of great young players coming. The organization was making a turn, and I think we were one uniform away to making a statement in the early 90s.
His first Major League homer.
It was, pretty common theme all the way through, 1989, and certainly as we were preparing to move into a new ballpark. The first step was to bring in a designer, and Rob had collaborated with a gentleman named John Hatzikalfis from New York.
And I was looking at the uniforms of the Yankees, and I thought, one, dark colors, and two, pinstripes. They're timeless. We started doing our research, and we found that there was a great deal of affection for the uniforms that the Sox wore in the 50s.
The Old English logo had been used going back to 1949, but over the years the proportions and colors had changed, so I sent John some variations of that, and he began deconstructing and redesigning it. He straightened all those lines out and made them consistent, which made the logo just a lot cleaner. But once he made that small, subtle change, I knew he nailed it.
How y'all get these from the archives? They end up doing this one, huh? But this is unique. Oh, wow. Man, this is so awesome that y'all shared this with me. Can I please take pictures of these? I promise I won't post them. At the time, I didn't know the history that it reverted back to referencing the White Sox caps from the late 50s and the 60s and even the 70s. I wasn't familiar with that.
We grew up putting old English style lettering on our clothes, like ironing on letters, was the old English style, but that style lettering has always been a part of, the street culture.
I felt very strongly that we had to ditch blue and red. We were one of 13 teams at that time that were wearing some form of blue and red, some shade of blue and red. I told him I was thinking actually about navy and silver.
And we happened to ask a designer, well, what are the hot colors of the 90s going to be? And instantly he said, well, it's going to be silver and black.
Rob said, let's get some samples made in both navy and silver and black and silver, so that's what we did.
Mike actually took the uniforms to a neighborhood block party on the southwest side.
And then lay these jerseys over a couch or put them on chairs and then bring people back into the room and let them see it and give us their opinion. And it was almost unanimous when people would see these samples laid out, and they would immediately be drawn to the black and silver one with pinstripes.
It was unanimous. They feel it. They didn't pick it, they felt it. The White Sox allowing the people to build its brand and see themselves in it helped shape what that is today.
You know, you've seen that Yankee uniform for so long, but when you saw our black and white pinstripes, the black tops and the white on white pants, it made a statement, but we had the players to back it up.
Ground ball to Ozzie, diving stop, gloves to second out, on to first out, double play. He's got it, Wilson Alvarez with a no-hitter for the White Sox. Swinging a high, deep drive into center field, way back, grand slam!
It felt very much like this is our team, very blue collar. You know, the aesthetic just really played to kind of the way that I describe our city. It's a beautiful grittiness, right? And it's a hardcore aggressiveness, but it's also like a purity to it.
When the Sox came out with the new rebranding, the new look, it just spoke to me. I had established myself as a force to be reckoned with as a solo artist with America's Most Wanted and then Kill at Will. And here we go with a new album and a new look. Yeah, I didn't want to return just straight with the Raiders look because it felt like I was, leaning on the NWA legacy. We was looking for something cool to set us apart. We still like the black, but when the Sox changed their colors, the Sox hat came out, this one right here, strangely spoke to us, like, yo, this is edgy, this is new flavor. And it felt like, yo, this is a new attitude for baseball. The steady mobbing, okay, yeah, I remember that. I shot that video in my neighborhood. And I just remember feeling fresh and new.
It was cool, and Ice Cube made it look really cool in the video. I think automatically, just based on that, everybody ran out and got the hat.
By August of 1991, White Sox merchandise was #1 in sales nationally, according to Major League Baseball properties.
The hat absolutely exploded. In 1990, the New Era Hat Company made 9,000 White Sox hats. In 1991, they made 544,000. Right after the hats were debuted, Jerry Reinsdorf went to a Tucson, Arizona store to buy a hat. They didn't have any. And the owner of the store said, I can't get any. I could sell all I could get, but I can't get any.
When 1992 rolls around, The Chronic comes out. And what's the first single from The Chronic? The first single from The Chronic is Nothing But a G Thing. What's the hat that he has on in that video? A Chicago White Sox hat. And The Chronic, it changed music. It's easily one of the most important hip hop albums of all time, if not top 5. It changed the genre, it changed the sound, it changed how people dressed. So then the White Sox hat explodes. Everybody is wearing a White Sox hat. We're wondering, what is this? Is this the uniform? Like, this is in every rap video now. This is stuff that's running once or twice an hour on Rap City and UMTV Raps.
And I realized when it was getting big, because I received a call from Major League Baseball asking me if I was sending hats to rap artists and MTV. No, that's organic. Obviously, it had gotten bigger than any of us had ever imagined.
Hip-hop is just the most influential cultural force on the planet, so it's only right that the fashion would be driven by hip-hop.
Not only are we gonna sing the lyrics that you're singing, we're gonna wanna wear the things that you're wearing. There were folks then who could probably care less about 9 innings and the diamond and all of that, but I just wanna look like Dre. I just want to look like Snoop. I just want to look like Cube. I just want to look like Easy.
For me, that's a true people's crown.
Reputation is extensive, I just do my thing. Keep it simple with the labor, see what fruits it brings.
I've got an interesting perspective on it because I'm British and raised and born in London. At the time, we didn't even know it was a baseball team, but it didn't matter. Our heroes and this music that was hip-hop hitting the mainstream that way was incredible, and the White Sox Hat was at the heart of that. I then believe that talent loves talent. So you have designers, musicians, they want to be sports people. Sports people want to be designers, musicians.
Athletes always wanted to be rappers, and the rappers always wanted to be athletes.
Everyone wants to be everyone else, so you get this whole kind of mix going on. Then you see all your heroes wearing a cap that you can go out and buy and have access to very, very easily.
You know my steezo, drinking with my amigos, pushing down Jeffrey Bullock, Jeffrey Bullock, Jeffrey Bullock.
How do we help the new generation have a platform to show creativity? I'll tell you what's probably most important for me is giving young artists an opportunity to be authenticated by working with us.
I think that's just really smart because now it could live everywhere and it doesn't just be looked at as just like a mass item. It could be living in all these different subcultures and different iterations of it. Being able to give opportunities to people like me to be able to deliver product with my favorite sports logos on it.
See, that's just another way that like White Sox Hat was repurposed and elevated into like this high fashion space. Shout out to Don, man. Don is a real genius. A true student of hip hop and steward of hip hop.
Fashion is a part of hip hop. When you look at the pillars of hip hop, people always feel like music, dancing, DJ, and graffiti. But fashion is always like how you show up was like everything.
Nothing beats that White Sox hat with the Old English. It's classic, it's timeless, and it goes with everything. And so hip hop brings that into the forefront. These artists who were the biggest artists of their time, the biggest artists of their generation, were basically putting their stamp on something that they didn't even realize.
Having the Sox Hat be a pivotal piece of so many of our superheroes as kids made it an aspirational and empowering piece of clothing for us. We didn't just like the music of Cube. We didn't just like the music of Common. I wanted to be Common. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were larger than life figures for us.
So it's safe to say Ice Cube put the White Sox hat on the map.
I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna go that far. I'm gonna just say I think maybe the Big Hurt probably played more of that than me. You know what I mean? I put it on the hip hop map. Put it that way.
Well, I really appreciate that. But like I said, we were winning. The culture was winning. We were the new upcoming team, and we continue to win a lot. I remember being in a restaurant in LA, and I saw Dr. Dre with a White Sox hat on. And said hello, just like in awe, because I was a big fan of his music. But yeah, I got to meet him in 1993.
I just felt like, you know, we're still pushing culture. We're still moving the needle. People are still attracted to what we're doing, how we're looking. The flavor that we bring was very influential. So we got a new team to be able to rock with the right colors.
They were all rebels. It actually made the hat grow bigger than the players in the game itself. The fashion of the Sox hat became part of what the franchise was, because the fashion of the Sox hat started to represent the culture of Comiskey Park, the culture of the Sox. What was that culture? It was the rebel. It was the person who was fighting against the system that may have been like, you know, Wrigley or the Cubs. It was Chuck D, Fight the Power. It was NWA, 100 Miles and Running. It was Tupac and Poetic Justice.
When I seen them guys wearing it, it felt like they were reaching out to us. That's what it felt like. They recognized us and was reaching out to Chicago as a whole.
Love Chicago, you know. My first big show outside of LA was at the Regal Theater in Chicago we forgot our record. We forgot one of our records that we were performing. Guess who took me to the record store to buy the record? I had to go buy our own record. It was Common. He was opening up for us. I mean, we didn't really know who he was, and that's just, one of those footnotes. Chicago has always welcomed us before the rest of the country. It was Chicago.
Chicago is the battery of the world. Chicago is what supercharges anything it touches.
We've been trendsetters since day one. It's just that people that don't live here don't know that. That doesn't stop us from still doing it. We're still creators and innovators of, this culture we call hip hop.
The White Sox represent a nice intersection of the melting pot that is our city, where, you can have folks in Pilsen, folks in Little Italy, folks in Bridgeport, folks in Bronzeville, Hyde Park, South Shore. We're all rooting for the same team, but that Sox hat, man, it just hit different. The Sox hat has transcended, location. It has transcended neighborhood. It has transcended region. I think it's unsung, and I'm just so glad we're talking about it. The Sox hat has been etched into the fabric of the culture.
I'm happy that the White Sox have stuck with this. It's like a staple now because it's too hard.
I made a promise to Jerry Reinsdorf that it would last 20 years. Well, it's been 33 years.
Still looks great today, doesn't it?
The black hat with the SOX logo on it not only reached back in time to a traditional Sox hat, but it moved it toward the future.
Black and white is timeless. Having those iconic photos that you can always look and you never know when it was taken or where it was. It was just like, wow, you were captured in time. So yeah, I love playing with the black and white. I think it just is a really good way to emphasize beauty.
I can't put on a $500,000 chain. I can't even do it, but I could put the hat on. That was dope though, that you could put on a hat and now I feel like a superhero.
Turns you from Clark Kent into Superman. Once I put this on, now I'm a star.
Putting this cap on kind of gave me some energy. Feel like a superhero. Like literally, I feel empowered.
Southside pride, bro. It's just pride, bro. Proud to be from Chicago, proud to be from the South Side. That's what I see.
I rocked the Sox hat because it was cool and it was fly, and White Sox been around before Ice Cube, so they got a long legacy. If I can add a little to that, I love the South Side, so I'm happy to be a part of it.
White Sox fitted on, I'm a Southsider, wild hunted rider, ragtown survivor, Chicago bred, Papa was a player, been about my paper since Harold was the mayor, last dragon glow, baby step into my lair, uncrowned king is here, let's go make an air, hop into my chariot, let's go make them stare, VVS rare, Versace for the glare, German engineering got us floating on air, click a bone crushes, Charlie, we ain't never scared, we are everywhere. Cause y'all ain't never there. Heard y'all was hating, but we ain't never care. Hat to the back, slightly broke. Never lost love for the streets. We mighty low. This for all the brothers and all the folks. Let's come together before we ghost. You know I got my White Sox fitted cap. Turn to the back, 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 White Sox fitted cap.
It's an official Sox hat. Let me just absorb this feeling. It feel like the South Side blocks. It feel like it rocks. It feel like the people blue collar. This the Sox. It feel like I'm out of Chicago. I'm out the box. It feel like I'm a Rasta. I'm finna shake my locks. SOX. Now I flex. FEST. Yes, this fest. Yeah, that's what it is. It's the Rebels. Is that it? But chop that, make it good. Don't make it like whack like I did it.